Hi Mark, welcome to MS Warrior Podcast. It's good to see you. Basically, why don't you introduce yourself and to the listeners, and you know who you are, where you are with your disease, if you like, at a minute, and what your journey so far, if you can.
Sure, no problem. Hi, I'm Mark Gilligan. I'm originally Irish, but I live in Holland the last 30 years. Good morning, Lee. Very nice to talk to you, first of all.
Good morning to you, yeah.
You got me right there. I am actually a sir. I was knighted a few years ago by the Dutch king. Yeah, really. That's no joke. Anyway, that's something to do with I would have been 17 years secondary progressive MS, according to my Dutch neurologist at the time that I got HSCT. I got HSCT in March 2020, just before the pandemic broke. Actually, my stem cell birthday is the 6th of March, so that's my second birthday. So yeah, I say I had MS. I have MS 17 years. I don't have an MS anymore. That's how I feel. That's how it's a very straight. Yeah, of course you have MS, but I don't feel like I have MS, even though like my disabilities are still. They're still quite evident. If you see me walking, you know that I'm disabled.
What symptoms do you still have?
Well, I have a leg. The left leg is just completely. He wants to stay on the ground, so like drop foot, you know. But I use. I basically walk with a stick and a caliper that I. Well, it's kind of like bungee jumping, hanging out of my waist. I've got two elastic bands down to my shoelaces, and as I walk, they just kind of lift up your leg. You know, so like I can walk, and I can walk up to about 2.5 kilometers, no problem. You know, without taking a rest. Yeah. So like I'd walk every day with the dog, or you know, in the park here beside where I live. This kind of stuff.
Could you not do that before?
No, I was in a wheelchair.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like prior to going to that's what I said. Like I was diagnosed secondary progressive MS 17 years. When I went to Moscow, and they started doing the initial test, the doctor Fedorenko, he comes in all excited, like, you know, swinging his arms, going, oh, no problem. He said I was actually going through a relapse when I arrived, because my right-hand side was going as well. And how disabled was I then? Yeah, well, I couldn't dress myself. I couldn't shower myself. I couldn't butter bread. I couldn't eat. I had to be spoon-fed. This kind of, well, I would be able to use the right hand like this, you know, you'd be going down all the time. So, like, my wife would have to, you know, like, cut up your beef burgers or your whatever, your pork chops or whatever, this kind of stuff.
The only thing I find, I'm secondary progressive, and I find that I'm right-handed naturally, but I find I have to eat with my left hand, because what the problem I have, which you already know about, is the shakes. So the tremors, when the tremors kick in, and I'm trying to feed myself, it just goes everywhere. So
the dog must be very happy with you. So
he is. So the tremors were crazy. So as they were this morning, as you know about.
Well, one thing I will say about MS is everybody is, you know, we all have similar disabilities or whatever, but everybody is completely different. I have never met anybody identical to me with MS, and I don't think you've ever met anybody identical to yourself with MS. No. You know, so it is fairly individual. But what I can say,
I do know people with MS as well, but not really secondary progressive or primary progressive.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I've met millions of people with MS over the years. Like some are worse than me, some are better than me, you know, and that's the thing. The other thing about me is I was a professional musician all my life, and the loss, well, it started with my left-hand side. I am naturally left-handed, so I haven't written or held a pen in my hand for the last maybe 6 years, 7 years. and I was a professional clarinet saxophone player. I played with quite...
Do you write music as well?
Oh, I do, yeah. I wrote quite a lot.
And how did you find writing, like handwriting?
Well, I can't handwrite at all. You know, that's what I'm saying, the last 6 years. Yeah. But yeah, I can't play. So off I go, you know, and Mr. Smiley swinging the arms, Dr. Fedorenko says, look, you know, I'm going to get you back walking. And like, I'm in a wheelchair, you know, I was being pushed. I had a carer with me in Moscow. Yeah. And
but you don't use a wheelchair anymore?
No, I sold it. I put it up on a website here in Holland. I actually sold it. I bought it for €140 and I sold it for €130. Yeah, and I only used it in Moscow. You know. So yeah. But anyway, but as I was saying, like about the writing on the left hand and not being able to play music, Fedorenko says to me, he says, look, within a couple of months you should be able to play music again. I said, but there's no way, you know, like I was completely, like I was like that in life. So I'm
sure that would be music to a lot of people's ears, to be honest.
Well, it would be. Look, here's my left hand now. So, like, I can play. The left-hand fingers are working again. I play saxophone. Clarinet is troublesome, but it was always a troublesome instrument. But the saxophone is a lot easier for me to play. And there's the fingers, they can move again. Like, they didn't move. That was a claw hand for years. It was just like this.
You find you coordinate a lot of... some physiotherapists have said to me personally that my problem is coordination.
Yeah, your finer, what's it called, finer motoric, your finer mechanisms don't work. But now mine, it's not great in the left hand, but there, you know, I'm just looking for a pen. I don't have a pen, but I can do it with the tin whistle. But there I can hold a tin whistle in my left hand and I can write again. Yeah. One thing I've taken up in the last couple of months as well is painting. So I'm just painting with my left hand. So I mean painting pictures.
I'm a designer by trade, but I used to be an artist, so that'd be great if I could get back.
Yeah, so like I find that's improving things, you know. But you know, after you know, like the process of HSCT, I could easily say, well, for me it was a walk in the park. And the reason I say that is because I didn't have a choice. You know, my life was literally fucked, basically. As I said, couldn't eat myself, couldn't dress myself, couldn't tie shoelaces, couldn't drive. I was reliant on everybody, you know, and of course, like any of us, we like to be self-efficient. So the last hope for me was HSCT. And like us all, I crowdfunded it, and I went and I just took a risk. So, in other words, I was very focused on the end game. This is it or not. It's either, you know, stick a, you know, euthanasia or, you know, because I wouldn't want to go on really living. Okay. So, like, in saying that though, the whole process of HSCT for me was fairly simple. Even slapping a thing through your jugular vein down to your spleen, what do you call that thing, the PICC line. Didn't bother me at all. You know, I got into the MRI machine, like they didn't have headlocks, they didn't have headphones, just straight into the banger machine. Yeah, no problem. You know, whatever they threw at me, you know. The food in Moscow, a lot of people complain about the food, you know. Yeah, it's not a 5-star hotel, it's a
fucking... Put you on an MRI machine as soon as you got there? Or
yeah, like within the first few days, I think the second day, I was in the MRI. Yeah, but...
How long were you there for in total?
32 days.
33. Okay.
Yeah. The most painful part of the whole HSCT was getting your hair shaved. You know, you'd be okay though.
Yeah, I'd be alright.
But yeah, that was the most
every week. So
yeah, that was the most painful thing for me. You know, because I'm a curly-headed fella, like, you know. But yeah, it's all back now. You know, so it's fine. You know, after coming back, it's quite an amazing journey. I got back into Holland. I was on the last KLM flight out of Moscow on the 18th of March. And I arrived
how did you, after HSCT, how was your walking ability to go on a flight, the journey?
Well, I came back in the wheelchair, but I did walk into Fedorenko's office, and he says, "Oh, Mark, you are working much better now, but I'll give you an extra." And he stuck a fucking needle up my arse. Yeah, he gave me an extra steroid shot just before I was leaving. What I did find again, when I did get back, I got back to Schiphol Airport on the last KLM flight, the 18th of March.
Yeah.
And I had arranged, because we sold our house to pay for it, because we needed money to pay for this. It's not free. There's no health insurance pays for it, And we were living in temporary accommodation, but the temporary accommodation had stairs and door saddles, and I just kept on falling and falling. My wife worked full time because that comes along with when the partner has is disabled and is not the source of income. My kids were at school, and I'm being left at home with door saddles and dogs and cats and and a bald head and very weak from chemotherapy. So I decided I would go into a nursing home. Now
that sounds normal for me.
Yeah, but I decided to. I decided to recuperate in a nursing home. As I said, it was the 18th of March.
Oh, okay.
So I go into the nursing home. The nursing home was lovely. It was a kind of a little apartment within a nursing home with 2 beds, so my children and wife could visit me and sleep over and things like that while I'm recuperating. However, the 19th of March turned out the pandemic, so we had total lockdown in Holland. So I didn't see anybody for 3 months after HSCT. I was just in a room alone. I saw the nurses, or what would you call them, the carers, first thing in the morning, where they would bring you your dinner, literally 5 minutes. That was it. So for 3 months I was totally alone.
Was that your isolation period?
Well, it was an extra isolation period. No, the isolation period I did in Moscow for 12 days. Right. Yeah, that's normal. Like, after you get your stem cells back in after the chemo and that, you're then, because you're literally flat, you're on zero, all your blood are zero. What do you call it? Neurophenic, I think they call it. So you have to go into isolation for that, for that period, Yeah, but like, you've got internet and you've got Netflix and Spotify, so you'd be grand, Yeah,
it sounds good.
Yeah, it's fine,
So do you have like communal area where you can meet people that also have an HSCT? In
the hospital, yeah. They give you a birthday party and everything. When you get your stem cells back, they have a party for you, and Dr. Fedorenko gives.
I've seen videos of people.
Yeah, it's mad.
I think Fedorenko throws something like.
He throws out the dry ice.
Dry ice.
Yeah,
I couldn't work out what that was.
Yeah. It's dry ice, with the leftover stem cells. It's more. It's symbolic, really. Yeah, but it's it would be the jar that would have kept your stem cells. Because they first take out your stem cells, they freeze them in liquid nitrogen, and then you get 4 days of chemo, and then they reintroduce the stem cells, and it's the leftover dry ice is what they throw out. And you get a little badge.
I thought the chemo period would be much longer than that. I thought it was like 4 days or something.
4 days, yeah, but it's very heavy chemo, let me tell you. It's very, very heavy.
Do you feel sick?
Yeah, but this is where I wanted to say a great tip I got from a girl, Lorraine Murray, Northern Ireland girl, who had HSCT. She was a great little kind of benefit for me. Give me all the tips. So a bit like yourself, where you're getting tips now before you go on this journey. And she said to me, make sure you eat pineapple rings before they give you chemo.
I've heard that as well.
Because
work out that is it because of the taste? Or?
So I took the pineapple. Basically, what it does, it lines your stomach, so you don't be feeling nauseous, and you don't get the dose of the shits, like what's it called, diarrhea, that kind of stuff. Yeah. But it does.
That brings on to my next question, which was about the food that's there, because I've seen pictures of it. It doesn't look great. But I'm not really going for the food.
Yeah, but you're not really going for the food. The food is healthy. Yeah. It's there for a reason. It's perfect. There's nothing wrong with it, But it just might not be to your taste. There's going to be no HP sauce with it, There's not going to be tomato ketchup with a burger or chicken or that. Like, it's just plain food, but it's healthy. And in all fairness, though, I just did everything that they threw at me, because I was there for a reason. Again, your mindset is so important. And you will hear this talk, like when you have your, before you get released and you have that end talk with Dr. Fedorenko, he'll give you 3 rules and he will say healthy eating is the number 1 rule, physiotherapy is the number 2 rule, and number 3 rule is positive attitude, And if any of those 3 fail, you're bound to bring on problems to yourself, if you know what I mean.
Yep.
Like if you don't have that good combination of the 3 things. And here's me now, 15 months post. I'm still doing physiotherapy every week. I'm still eating very healthy. Well, I'm very lucky really because my family are all vegetarian. So like I'd say 95% of my diet would be vegetarian. And yeah, good attitude. Yeah, like I'm a musician.
Yeah,
I love me rock and roll.
As soon as I was diagnosed, I cut out meat, dairy, and sugar.
Yeah,
all of that.
Yeah, so did I actually. Yeah.
But it's I try to do as much as I could do. Just to help it. And now it's coming up to having HSCT. That is March 10th. I believe so. I'm trying to do as much as I can to boost up my, stem cells, whatever. But I think speaking to Anastasia, I asked her the question. What I'm also doing at the minute is fasting, because fasting's supposed to boost your stem cells.
All right.
And she said it won't do anything. So
I
was like, okay.
Well, listen to Anastasia. I have found the forums. I think we spoke before about the forums. I find the forums, they can be great, but they can also be a very, very frightening place. Like people use them as for medical. Like you really need to ask professional medical questions. Like what you just said there. You had a question. What should I do? Should I ask that on the forum or should I ask Anastasia? Yeah, ask Anastasia. She has the real answer. That's where you should get. I think it's very important that you get, answers from, because they've got more than 20 years experience in HSCT for a start. And I just do find on the forum that there is an awful lot of armchair medics, with no medical qualifications given out. Take this, take that, and do the other. You could do more harm to yourself, if you know what I mean.
There's a kind of it's gone so long now. I think I wanted HSCT last year, the year before.
We kind of started it around the same time, because I remember your name.
Obviously, like you said before, because of the pandemic. Obviously everything stopped. So
you couldn't
go anywhere, do anything.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Even the hospital wouldn't see me personally. They only see me. Only have an appointment by phone.
Yeah, of course.
That was it.
Yeah.
So it wasn't good at all. So we're coming out of it now, starting to come out of it. But it's still there. It's still difficult. I'm hoping that when I get a flight to Moscow, I'm hoping it'll be a straight flight, so one flight to Moscow. So
well, I'm sure there is out of London, direct. I don't know out of Manchester.
I think British Airways do one flight from Heathrow. So my dad said he'd drive me down to Heathrow.
Of course, and that's another thing as well. I wouldn't be afraid of going on my own either, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that was the next question.
A lot of people would be afraid because you are going into the unknown. Of course, I can well understand everybody's, because I was there. God, I'm going to Moscow. What the fuck do I know about Moscow? I know nothing about Moscow. Yeah, okay. The only thing I actually wanted to do was, of course, I wanted to see the Red Square, and I wanted to see Vladimir Lenin. And like I'm in a wheelchair. Fortunately, it's not wheelchair accessible, but I crawled on my arms and knees down to see him because there's no way I was going to miss something like that. But what I did find was that on arrival, Anastasia, to the word, had somebody there to pick you up. They picked you up. They brought you to at the time I had 2 free days, because I wanted to see what I just said, and she brought me to the hotel, and then she collected me on the Monday morning from the hotel. you know, and that was it. And the weird thing was, when I arrived at the hotel, who comes out to the taxi or whatever you would call it?
I'm not sure what the situation is now, because obviously last time I communicated with Anastasia, she said no, there won't be any hotels. It'll just be straight to the hospital.
It is, yeah. Well, that's to do with the pandemic that's going around with this world. That's very understandable. But sure, that's even better. Like okay, I was over there when it was, before the pandemic, so there was time to look around, and like in the first couple of days, you could go outside, you could go to the local shops, and buy ice.
I think Moscow at the minute I've got it pretty bad, so I'll still get it pretty bad.
I think the whole bloody world has it pretty bad, yeah.
So I don't know what the situation is now, but if I do have to go on my own, then so be it.
I wouldn't be, because once you're there, as I just said, you kind of get into this kind of tunnel vision mode. Look, I'm here for a reason. This is going to stop my MS. Not that I'm going to get better, not that I'm going to improve my life, but Jesus Christ, I don't want it getting any worse than what it is and what it has brought.
Well, hopefully I have the same improvements that you've had. Hopefully I can write the signature again and things like that.
Exactly. But I don't know why it worked with me, and why it doesn't work on other people, but some of us are lucky, some of us aren't, but at the same time, I don't think any doctor in the world could tell you whether it's going to work or not. I think they can do. Preliminary tests and say, you're an ideal candidate for, or this will help you. It'll help. So the main thing with HSCT is to stop the progression. And like every year, after HSCT, if it has stopped the progression, it's working.
Obviously, any improvements are a bonus, but number one thing is stopping it.
Exactly. I think the bonus is what you talk about. Again, I think that like the body heals itself. Like if you fall and break a leg and you get it reset, it heals itself. Or what I mean. If you get a cold, you get over it. So the body body is great at healing itself. I think I heard that the liver kind of makes itself again every 16 days. You get a new liver. So like in saying that, so if MS is stopped, then what's stopping the body repairing itself? Yeah, it's going to take time, at the end, end of the day. So I think a lot of the improvements is because I feel that the body is repairing itself. But I'm also giving it good food to repair itself, if you know what I mean.
No, it's good. Good information.
And the other thing I'd say, medication. Yeah, I was on all the medication from Tysabri for 2 years to Gilligan to baclofen for the shakes. To cannabis, to everything. But today, the only thing I take is fish oil and vitamin D. That's it. A bit of magnesium for you do get bone pain. In between your fingers, I've got.
Yeah, I saw a question that you had online.
But it got hijacked by somebody about spasms. It wasn't about spasms. It was about bone pain, and that's what I mean. Like, it's a very dangerous place, these forums at times, to be asking medical questions, And basically, what I did was I just wrote to Anastasia 2 minutes later. Yes, I just spoke to Dr. Fedorenko, and she told me exactly how much magnesium I need, what kind of magnesium I need. That was it. So that's the answer. Because and that's what I was saying about the forums. They can be very helpful, but they can be very off-putting as well. Though I really just take a lot of that information with a pinch of salt. But that's me. Maybe I'm not going to start putting down people.
I'm going to go there with no expectations whatsoever. I've got my concerns. I mean, there's a few people that been non-responders, whatever that means, but
there has been people have died. People have died as well.
Does that mean it doesn't work? Or?
I suppose it does. I had a friend there, Gary, a friend of mine from Dublin, who actually got it done recently. Like, we knew each other from Amsterdam back 30 years ago. But I met him in Dublin at a benefit concert for me, and the poor old devil, like, you know, was in a you know, with a little joystick wheelchair thing, electric yoke, you know, and God, he couldn't walk, he couldn't do anything, you know, the poor old devil. But he went off, and he just recently got it done. He didn't get a HSCT done because there was a big chance it wouldn't have worked with him, or he would have got certain other complications. So they did some other chemotherapy with him.
Yeah.
But I was talking to him there recently, and he goes, "Do you know what? My leg moved." You know, delighted with himself. You know, like you just see how happy the man was. Like, you know, you were just chatting to him. You know, so whether it works or not works with people, you know, the non-responders you're not going to really hear very much about. You know, you're not going to hear negative stories about HSCT on the forums. You know,
so it is just a concern, but I'm absolutely still going to get it done.
Yeah.
You know, I've got to try something.
Yeah, well, there are files in those forums that you can actually check from Russia, you know, what their statistics are, you know, how many people, you know, I think it was up to, for me, secondary progressive like yourself, Lee, it's up to, I think, between 68 and 73%.
Yeah, I remember looking at that, and I thought, I'm not a gambler at all.
I know, but
they're good odds. They're really good odds.
Yeah,
so why would
I'm not a gambler at all. But that was the only thing I saw. Well, Jesus Christ, I'm doing that. You know, and there's a 0.3% death rate. You know, that didn't even enter the equation for me. You know, and I know a lot of neurologists, and I've read them on the forums as well. Oh, my neurologist said, "Oh, you could kill yourself. You're an idiot for."
Yeah.
You know,
that's exactly the sort of feedback I've had from neurologists and things like that, trying to put me off.
Yeah,
but I don't recommend you do that. I said, why not?
But I think there's
and I said, well, it might not work. I said, well,
yeah, but
you know, it might not work. But the thing is, that is my choice.
Yeah.
It's not like the gamble that they took.
I was in the same boat here with my neurologist as well. Like, you know, but she couldn't offer me anything. No, you're secondary progressive. No, stay on the galena, but we don't know whether it will help or not help. And of course, I start getting worse. You know, it just kept completely downhill. And so there's nothing on offer from yourself. Well, I'm going for a HSCT. Oh, I don't think that'll work with you. And I said, well, have you got experience? And she goes, no, I don't. I said, but then, you know, I don't really need your opinion on this. I've decided. You know, I think you can deal with people, you know, like what you're saying about the neurologists of this world, that they're very against it. Yes, well, of course they are if they don't have experience. Yeah. But I think what you really need from your neurologist is support after HSCT. And I think if you look at it from that role, will they support you, yes or no? That's all you need to know. And if they won't support you, you get another neurologist. Or you don't get a neurologist. Like, what, you know, do you need a neurologist, if you know what I mean? Yeah. What do you need?
Well, apparently it's a hematologist I need for blood counts and stuff
your
like
local
that.
Doctor can do that for you. He just takes blood and he sends it off to the local hospital, and the hematologist there looks at it and he gives you the results. Okay. I wouldn't get, you know, my knickers in a twist about stuff like that, you know.
Yeah, you're right, absolutely right. That's exactly, because I've not had it done yet, but I'm already procrastinating about what will be.
Oh, I know, I can still see myself, the cat, the dog, what am I going to do when I come home? Oh, I'm going to a nursing home, you know. That's why I did it, because I was shitting myself. Of course I was, you know. Oh, I want first class flights coming back, this kind of thing.
I've seen the like you said, the odds and stuff like that you spoke about before, the percentage of will it work or not. And I think for people with relapsed and remitting, it was super high. 95%.
Yeah, between 80 and something. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So my only regret, as many people have said online, they didn't have it done sooner.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I'm at.
You will find as well people who are just newly diagnosed or who are still fine or near enough to fine, apart from little double vision problems. They won't. A lot of people won't do it, you know, because I'm grand at the moment. It's 15 years later, you know, when the MS starts, you know, like the progression of the MS sickness itself, like after 14, 15 years, you do develop into secondary progressive. That's the normal life cycle of MS, you know. And then
so when we actually diagnosed?
2003.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. So 2003 to
2020. Yeah. 17 years.
Okay, that's quite a while.
Yeah. And it was the last 5 years of that, you know, it just went downhill with me, with the body, you know, and all the disability and stuff. But right onto that though, you know. But I still work. I you know, I'm a radio DJ. I did my shows from the nursing home, like literally a week after HSCT. You know, like people ask, "Oh, when can I go back to work?" and stuff like that. But it depends on your job, you know. If you're a bricklayer, you might want to go back to work, if you know what I mean. But if you're a radio DJ and you like talking, yeah, of course you're going to go back to work, you know. So no, I work 24 hours a week as a radio DJ and as a guest, as a host for a music for a big music club here in Holland. Like I do, you know, I look after rock stars basically, and I just talk all day long. That's my job, talking. It's great.
Yeah, that's a good job to have. You know.
Yeah, so I don't lift anything, you know. But I'm still motivated. What I mean by saying that, I have a great job. What I really want to say is I'm still motivated to work, you know. And HSCT has done this to me. Like the motivation
what gave you more motivation?
Good God! It's if you ever meet somebody that had HSCT, I might have said this to you earlier on. When you look at them, it's the happiness in their eyes is unbelievable. Most of the people that I met with, I couldn't believe how happy these people were. You know, I mean, they're happy with their husbands and wives, children, because you get your life back, basically. You know, and it does motivate. And it does motivate you, you know, to do the physios, to eat healthy, you know. All this kind of stuff, you know. Okay. So you'll be back in the boxing ring, Lee.
Okay. Hopefully, you know, whether it's boxing or MMA, whatever, I want to do that again.
But like any kind of movement is going to be great for you, you know.
Yeah. I'm going to take it. I'm going to take baby steps, obviously.
But do it first, you know, and like.
Yeah.
An important thing is build a little team around you, you know, like people that, hey, look, he's been there, maybe he knows, or, you know, then you will find that Anastasia and Dr. Fedorenko will instantly become your new best friends. Really, they're incredible people, and they're very accessible, and you know they won't let you down. They won't let you down, you know, and even you know like post HSCT, they're still there for you, you know, and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's good to know.
And you can always go for an MOT as well, back to Moscow, you know, years later.
What's that?
You know, like a car when you have to bring it for its yearly checkup.
Is that going back to Moscow?
Yeah, to go and have an MRI scan or get your blood tested or. Right. Yeah, you can do that. I think it costs 5,000 or something. 5,000, yeah.
Is that more expense to do that?
Well, it costs about 5,000, I think. I've heard that from somebody, you know.
5,000 euro.
Yeah. So let's say 4,500 sterling, you know. But yeah, no, I'd love to go back in the future. Yeah, definitely. I'd love to squeeze Fedorenko and thank him, you know, because he really did. I can't believe, you know, the change in me, you know, in you know, since HSCT, you know, and I've heard it from other people that I was with there. You know, most of the people I was with would be on the same boat as me. You know, it really was very, very positive outcomes. You know?
That's a good way. Yeah. Good way to. It's a good end note, if you like, because.
Good.
Definitely. But listen, thank you so much for your time.
No thanks needed.
Hopefully what we've discussed is going to help somebody else.
Please God, yeah.
With their journey.
Yeah. Absolutely, you know, if you know, as I said to you before, I'm an open book, you know, and I think most people who have done HSCT would do like to talk about it and do like to promote it. to be an adversary for HSCT. Yeah, I think it's very
Yeah, I think it should be more.
I think it will. I think it will come, but I think it's time is the problem, and time is right now is not on my side or on your side. That's if you know what I mean.
It's just getting that across to a consultant or a doctor, just to tell them how you feel, which is like, I feel at times against me. I feel like a ticking time bomb.
Yeah,
but
you are right. But the other thing about them is they are going to have to do their own trials. And that's the thing. They do have. I know here in Holland they've started trialing now, and they're being very voorzichtig. That's a Dutch word which means very careful. So in other words, they're only using people with the criteria of remittance relapsants, that are only diagnosed, 4 or 5 years, who are under the age of whatever, 40 or whatever, or 30 or 35.
I think eventually it will become more accepted as the first,
I think it will, but
the first line of defence.
Yeah, but it's a pity they can't talk to the types of Dr. Fedorenko and use his results and say, okay, unfortunately life is not that simple, and the world was always like that, But in saying that, there is an option for us to do it, whether it's in Mexico, India, or, or in Moscow, There are options,
Well, it's I'm bound for Moscow.
Oh, you love it! Wait, it's like, as I said, it's like going to a 3-star hotel with a 5-star mentality. It's incredible.
I'm not bothered if it's a plank of wood to sleep on or anything like that. It's just getting there is the most important thing.
It's incredible. You'd be blown away, and. Like, language is not a problem. You can use Google Translate, and all these kind of things, Just bring your pineapple with you, and bring.
Yeah, you know what? I've got a list because I've put together a list of all the things to take.
Yeah.
Over the time that I've spoke to people online or whatever, or notice posts, and just got a list of things to take. I'm going to be careful though, and travel light.
Yeah, well, you won't need much clothes. Yeah, pajamas basically, or training pants or whatever. That's all you need, because you're not going to be going anywhere.
If I have to live in your pajamas for a month.
Exactly. So bring a couple of pairs of pajamas with you. You'd be grand. Yeah. I think you can walk around the hospital grounds even in the pandemic. Yeah, like get a bit of fresh air. They have a church. There's an Orthodox church. It's kind of nice, made of wood. Yeah. There's a couple of statues. Of famous Russian doctors in the ground, stuff like that. Yeah. It's lovely. It's beautiful. Yeah. It is an amazing. It's an amazing experience. It's like going on holidays to a hospital.
It definitely isn't a holiday, but I can't wait to get that.
No, I think if you're focused, you'll get through it, no problem whatsoever. Okay. Yeah. It's not very painful. It is draining, but not painful. It's not. There's no big needles going into your spine or anything like that. It's not that.
So, I mean, people are saying that, I think I've said to you already, but people are saying that about having things like lumbar punctures, or, for want of a better word, it's just sap, and people going, it's terrible, it's... I didn't feel a thing.
Oh, I did.
But it's so many people online saying, it was so bad.
Yeah, no, I
for me personally, I didn't feel anything.
My wife had it. They had to pin me down. I think four nurses. Oh yeah. Yeah, I cursed Jesus and all his little fucking disciples that day. I'll never forget it. They all got it.
I just said to somebody, I said, look, just distract me with whatever nonsense. I don't care what it is. Just talk nonsense. Just distract me from what's going on. I think I've said before, the nurse said to me, they all want a mirror to watch it. I said, no, I don't.
Well, there's none of that going on in Moscow. or in Mexico, there's no spinal taps. They've got chemicals now or medicines that get your spine cells into your stem cells into.
I used to be afraid of needles, but I'm like a human.
Yeah, of course, we all are.
So,
no, not at all. No, you'll be fine. Really, you really will, and you really are in the best hands up there. Like even if. That's why I choose for Moscow. I was first going to Mexico, but I didn't like the idea of staying in an apartment with a carer and getting 4 days of chemo. And then, if anything went wrong, what do you do? Now, I felt, well, hang on a second, Moscow, then you're in a hospital. And, and that was it, so if anything went wrong, they're on hand 24 hours a day there, so so you've nothing to worry about. And if you do have a problem, they sort it out. They know everything. Yeah, they really do. As I say, they've over 20 years of experience, so they know what they're talking about. So I was very glad of my choice. Well, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think we have to wrap it up. And again, thank you for your time. All the best of luck with the radio station and your recovery, and hopefully speak again.
Yeah, anytime, Lee. You're always welcome to give me a shout. Yeah, and listen, best of luck with the podcast. I'm sure you've got a load more other people to be chatting to.
Thanks. It's just so other people.
Exactly. I think it's very important.
Hear from people. I
think it's important to that people. Because people with MS, they're in the shits. There's no other way of putting it. You really are. Unfortunately.
Okay, but the more we talk about it, the more we help each other, the better it can be.
Okay.